Hey everyone, it's Corey. So you may notice that I'm wearing like the same shirt as I did in another video, and I did just film that other video, but now I have this little smoky eye on. Do you guys like it? I could do a tutorial. Let me know. But today I want to just talk about oily skin. Personally, I have very oily skin, and I feel like everyone is kind of in this like ongoing contest with each other. Like, I have the oiliest skin in the world. No, I have the oiliest skin in the world. I don't know about all that, but I have pretty oily skin, and I have for, forever. All through middle school and all through high school, I was actually extremely acneic, but now my acne has pretty much cleared up, and now I'm just dealing with some hyperpigmentation. But still, like, my oily skin has stuck around and probably will, like, forever. And I can attest a little bit of that to the fact that I am Asian. Like, completely neutral, but Asian skins do tend to produce more oil than others do. So I just want to kind of give you a couple tips and tricks that I've learned along the way about dealing with being oily. So yeah, let's just get started right now. So the first tip that I can give is do not skip out on moisturizing. I know that to kind of get over the hurdle of getting over the mental block that you need to be putting moisture into your skin even though your skin is producing all this oil moisture is a little bit to work out with yourself, but in some cases the reason why the skin overproduces oil is because the skin is dehydrated, and therefore it overcompensates and produces more oil in order to try to hydrate itself because you are dry. And I know that lots of oily skin people do not like to moisturize because they're like, oh, I'm just gonna get shiny like even quicker if my skin is hydrated, but that is definitely not the case. I find that on days when I skimp out on my moisturizer, I get oily so much quicker because the skin underneath it is not hydrated, so in terms it will the skin underneath my like base makeup and stuff is not hydrated, so therefore it will have more oil being produced because it's dehydrated. So a couple moisturizers that I found along the way that are very good for oily skin are Jack Black Double Duty. This is a mini one. I just ran out of like a full-sized one though, and this is really nice. If you're oily skinned, I would go for less of like the thicker moisturizer and more of like the kind of not watery, but the thinner kind of like gel cream consistencies. I find that those really sink into the skin very well, don't leave you with like a shiny finish right after moisturizing. And yeah, so step one, moisturize your oily skin. A tip for if you do like to wear makeup, some people don't, and that's fine. But if you are oily and you have trouble with like your makeup kind of slipping around or like separating because like there's so much oil producing that's starting it to like, I don't know, that it's turning it into a liquid instead of like a set powder, whatever, is kind of incorporate your setting spray into your foundation routine. So, for example, I don't just mean just spritzing your face with setting spray after to remove the powdery finish, which is what lots of people do, but I mean that, let me see if I can do this without really doing it, but okay, so say that you have put your foundation on the back of your hand and you are dotting it over your face. Dot it all over your entire face. Kind of let it cook there for maybe like 20-ish seconds so it starts to set a little bit, but not set so much that it is hard to buff out. And then when you get your brush, right before you try to buff in your liquid foundation. Oh, that's another thing. Oily skins, do not feel afraid to wear liquid foundation. Just don't. It's a placebo. It's fine. You're okay. But so liquid foundation is all dotted over. Spray your entire face, like drown it in setting spray, and then spray a little bit on your brush and then buff it in. You will get all those like locking fixative properties, like shine control properties of the setting spray, but it will actually kind of like mesh in all with your foundation and give you a lot more longevity. And I find that this L'Oreal Infallible one, this is kind of new, this one works really well to do that, and also Urban Decay De Slick, which is geared towards oily skin, is also very good to do that. Same thing if you like to wear a powder foundation, what I do with that is I will actually spray my setting spray over just cleanse and moisturized face, and then very quickly I will like pack on powder foundation over like my wet setting sprayed face, and then I will buff it all in with the brush sprayed with the setting spray, so that like locks in the oil control and like fixing properties of the setting spray, but mixes it in with your powder foundation, which is already going to keep you matte because it's a powder, so it will help absorb, and also it will help lock everything in because you have like your locking setting spray on. So tip number 2 is setting sprays mid foundation or like mid makeup application are your friend. Another tip, which may be a little bit on the obvious side, is go matte where you can. I mean, and by that I mean, like, I wouldn't necessarily mean that you have to wear a matte foundation, but it will probably help you out in the long run if you keep your T-zone matte. So if you wore maybe like a regular finish, like a skin finish liquid foundation, or even a powder foundation, whatever you have put on, keep the area, like, initially lock down the areas that you want to be matte. So mattify your T-zone, right down the nose, through the forehead. I find that I get very oily right here, right above my eyebrows, and right here. So I definitely really like pack on the powder there, and then I'll like brush the excess away. So keep matte where you want to be matte. And also, if you're extremely oily like through this area, I wouldn't recommend wearing a very shimmery blush, because one, that can accentuate pores. I find that oilier skins also have larger pores. And two, if your skin is drowned in shimmer right here, and like this is all shiny and this is all shiny, you'll start to look like you're like melting, and that's not a cute look. So I would go, if you do get oily right here, I would recommend using a relatively matte blush or a satin blush. Don't be using NARS Super Orgasm, because it has large chunks of glitter that will make you look ridiculous if your oil starts to break through throughout the day. And on that note of being matte where you want to be matte, where you want to highlight, deliberately highlight. Like, throughout all my videos, you can probably see that even though I am oily, I like to go for a real intense highlight, like day, night, whatever. I think I can pull it off, and I'm confident with it, so that's just what I do. Like, I know that my camera isn't the best, but I have a real strong highlight right here and right here, kind of right above the, like where my eyebrow dips down, and a bit on my chin. And for that, I used the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Champagne Gold. This is new, and this is a real intense highlight. But, it looks pretty metallic, but I find that it is deliberate, and therefore it looks like I have a cosmetic highlight on the top of my cheek, as opposed to I have, like, skin oil breaking through on the top of my cheek. Ew, that's weird. But, so I would just say play your skin off as synergistic as possible. Matte, 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 highlight, highlight. If you don't get oily, actually, I should say, if you can deal with the center of your nose looking luminous, then highlight down here if you want to, or keep it matte, whatever your preference is. Definitely matte for me right here, and I like a highlight right on the top of my chin, but that's just me. So I think overall that tip was make your skin look like skin. Straying out of makeup tips, do not over cleanse your skin. I definitely know that if I'm like oily and stuff like midday, I can start to feel really disgusting and kind of like grody and greasy, and I feel like there's like literally like mud sitting on top of my face. But honestly, you just have to cleanse your skin in the morning and in the evening. Wash off your makeup first, and then actually cleanse your skin, because if you do one cleanse and you're like leaving a little bit of makeup behind, you're not really hitting your skin very well, and then like you're just gonna go to bed with like a little bit of makeup on and like not really cleanse skin. So don't over cleanse, but definitely take the time out to cleanse your skin. And in the morning, this is a tip that I learned from an esthetician who I've seen a couple times, is in the morning, do not actually use a cleanser to cleanse your skin, but just use water. I mean, hopefully in the evening you'll have put on like serum and like some moisturizer and some eye cream and everything, and you have all this stuff that's like sitting on your face that's giving your skin all these benefits, and you don't really need a cleanser to remove them because you already have good sitting on top of your skin, so just use water to like rinse away the residue and then go right in with your moisturizer. And I've been doing that for maybe like the past 2 months, and I found that it made a real difference. But do not over cleanse, because then just like I said in the beginning, your skin will start to go into this cycle of it's dehydrated, so thus it's producing more oil, and thus you feel more oily, so you'll over cleanse, and eventually your skin will turn into sandpaper. Oily, goopy sandpaper. The last tip that I can give that is maybe the hardest hurdle to get over, but even I struggle with it sometimes, but it's just a necessary evil of having oily skin. You have to deal with having oily skin. Like, I don't know, does that sound like cryptic and kind of, I don't know, does that sound too philosophical? But if you stress over your skin trying to look completely flat and matte the entire day as a way of combating the fact that you have oil, then you will never be satisfied with your skin. You'll never think that your face looks good. Because right now I am like a little bit dewy right here, a little bit dewy on my forehead if you can see, but I deal with it. I think it makes me look fresher and just makes my skin look more like skin. If you are oily, even severely oily, definitely go mattes to like combat it, but like do not strive to be matte 24/7. Like, do not be taking out your blot powder every 3 seconds, going like every single time you think that there may be a little bit of oil breaking through, because it will just, one, powder will start to dry out your skin again, and it will get you into that cycle again that I was just talking about. But just deal with having oily skin. You know what I mean? Like, there was a period of time when I did not highlight. I went for like a really heavy all over powder. I powdered my under eyes like excessively for no apparent reason, because your under eyes don't really produce a lot of oil, just FYI. And yeah, I used to just like to be so matte, and therefore like an hour into my makeup I was like, oh my god, I look so oily, when really I just probably looked like this, you know? I think, like, I don't think I look oily right now, I think I look good. So yeah, I don't know how many other ways I can like rephrase it, but you just have to deal with being oily. And that's it for my tips and tricks about dealing with oily skin. I hope that you guys learned a little bit of something, and these are all like personal accounts. Like, I can't really talk about having dry skin and trying to keep you nice and supple and stuff, because I don't have dry skin. Like, I have oily skin, so this is kind of my area of expertise, and I just wanted to share some of the stuff that has helped me get through the hurdles of being goopy and shiny all the time. And where was I going with that? I don't know, but that was the video, and I hope that you guys liked it. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, leave them down below. Subscribe, it really means a lot to me. I love hearing you guys' feedback, so definitely let me know, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!